Welcome to Season 3 of the Get Set podcast, an Old Girls Entertainment production. We are so excited to be on the pod today sharing our experiences as three women in the TV and film industry. For this episode, we have myself, Jessica Payne, and
Monique Schwaneman, and we have a very special guest with us today, Arun Storrs. Arun is an actor who's worked in the TV, film, voiceover, theater, and dance spaces. So welcome, Arun.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me, y'all. This is great.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we're like friends of friends that became friends who just, follow each other on Instagram, and I'm always, so excited to hear your updates. But I haven't actually talked to you in a while, so I'm so thankful that you decided to come on because you have some great insight and some great stories. So I can't wait to hear all about it.
Oh, thanks.
Before we get into this incredible episode, we want to share with you all the exciting news happening over on our Patreon. We give updates on our current productions, tips on how and why we do certain things in pre, post, and production, and a plethora of terms explained to you that you will hear on set and in the production world, and so much more. So join us over on Patreon for as little as $1 a month at patreon.com/allgirlsentertainment.
Let's start out with, where are you from and where do you call home?
Yeah, so I was originally adopted from Nepal. So but I was adopted when I was a baby. So I really call Oregon home and Nepal my second home. So I grew up in Oregon, in Eugene and Corvallis, and and I love it. It's a beautiful state.
And so how did you get into the industry? Like, what sparked this passion? How did you decide that acting is for you, or was there any other area that you were interested in?
Yeah, I it's a little bit of a very long-winded story, which I will embark upon telling you, I guess. I think ever since I was little, like since I was like 5 and we did like a kindergarten production of Peter Pan, I was like, I love acting. It's just so fun. And then I was really lucky. I just grew up in a town that had a ton of amazing theater offerings for kids. I did a lot of community theater with this company started by this one woman, Celeste Rose, called Rose Children's Theater. We were doing shows like around the year, it felt like, in like the local performing arts center. And so I got to do a lot of that. And I had amazing programs. Like in elementary school, we had a great musical theater program, and I was introduced to Shakespeare and went to the Oregon Shakespeare Festival when I was 10 with I know, with this amazing teacher, Nan Loveland, and saw a production of King Lear, which like basically changed my life because it showed me that it was a colorblind casting production, and they cast all of the 3 daughters of King Lear's daughters as different ethnicities, even though King Lear himself was white. And that made me be like, what? Maybe I can do this. And then middle school, I had like award-winning like musical theater teachers, more Shakespeare. It was awesome. And then high school had a really robust theater program. And I did theater like all year round. We had a small theater, we had a large theater, we did musicals, we did dramas, we did comedies, all that stuff. I never really got cast as like a lead, but I loved it. And I just loved being in that rehearsal room doing acting. So I always knew I wanted to do it. I always knew that I loved acting. I didn't always know that I wanted to do it as a career. I basically was like, okay, high school's over. I'm going to go to college and get serious and get like an adult job. So I went to Yale, and I was like going to do international relations or something along those lines. And basically, I still was like taking a theater class for fun, and I auditioned for a production my sophomore year of Vagina Monologues, and I finally got cast, and it ended up being like an amazing experience. And then I studied abroad in Chile the summer after my sophomore year, and I was staying with this couple who are artists, and basically seeing how they lived and like put their life together. And I had to pick a major my junior year, and I was reflecting on the previous 2 years at Yale, and realized that like the best thing I had done was that production of Vagina Monologues. And it was, it really merged my interests of like social activism through theater, and also was just like an amazing production to be a part of. so then I decided I wanted to do theater and pursue it, at least academically. I still never got cast in much, so had to, make a lot of my own stuff. There was this amazing professor who joined the faculty and started basically from scratch a dance theater program. So I got really into sort of site-specific performance work. After I graduated, I went to the NYU's it was like an Emerge NYC program for artists of color through their Hemispheric Institute of Politics and Performance. And that was awesome. Got to meet like some incredible, at the time, young talent. Now we're all older. But
still young.
Yes, exactly. And that was like really transformative. But, I sort of was like, okay, it's not really something that I can sustain. Acting is not something I can sustain myself doing. So I was still really interested in social justice and activism. So I ended up getting a really cool job as a consultant for this group called Minority Rights Group International. It's a big international NGO. Headquartered in the UK, but they have projects all over the world. And I was brought on to help them develop a street theater project to combat racism in Kenya, Rwanda, Botswana, and the Dominican Republic. And then also a second round was sort of done in Tunisia, Egypt, Gaza. So that was like an amazing
Oh
job.
My God.
Yeah. I got to like
you just
travel.
Keep on dropping these things. There's just like Yale and these organizations. I'm like, oh, she's just dropping this like this is nothing, but like this is intense.
I am trying to be really, really polite and just like let you talk, but at the same time, I'm like, what? Wait, huh?
Every single thing you say, I'm like,
I love
what?
it.
You did
really
that?
cool.
Oh, you did that? Oh my God!
Yeah.
Oh my God! You're like, oh, okay, yeah. So this door closed, and I opened this other massive door, and then I just, oh my God!
You know when someone like just starts like naming everything that they're doing, you're like, wait, what? Where? How?
Wait.
What do I say?
I knew you
this
were
is amazing,
but what? This is crazy. Okay.
Okay.
Thank
So
you,
sorry
guys.
to interrupt.
No, don't. No, I'm like doing the Rolodex. So please, interrupt at any time. but yeah, no, that project
incredible.
was amazing. I got to go to Rwanda and interview local theater groups and work with local NGOs and local directors who were incredible. And Botswana, I got to go and evaluate the project. So I got to go and see the performance that they put together and tour with the director. And it was just the most magical, amazing thing. But I also was still can't make a living doing this type of thing. So I decided to sort of cut the cord on acting, move back home to Oregon. It was also 2010 and there were no jobs. I couldn't even get a job at a bakery with a Yale degree. I was
wow.
It was kind of
wild.
Insane.
That is absolutely wild.
So I decided to start my own nonprofit in Nepal. And I didn't really know what that would look like yet, but I was sort of taking some time with living at home. And then while I was home, I was there's some auditions for some local theaters. I think I'm just going to try out. And then I got cast in a couple of productions, did this awesome production of Fahrenheit 451. And that was great. And I was you know what? Again, this is the best thing I've done. It's the thing I love. And at the time, my college roommate was working for William Morris before they merged with Endeavor. I'm definitely dating myself. And my now husband was had just moved to LA and was pursuing filmmaking. And so they were like, get down here. And so I was like, I guess there's never a better time. So then I moved down to LA. And I think that's how I got here.
Pretty sure that's how it went.
Incredible journey.
Yeah.
And it just goes to show that you can be talented and educated, freaking Yale degree, and things could not pan out as you think they should or think they would. Mm-hmm. And, I feel like I've heard that story so many times. Theater is what I really wanted to pursue, but I pursued something else. Then I went back to it. Then I got a different job. I mean, it's I mean, your story is so unique, but that through line is very relatable for sure.
Another thing that I like want to touch on is you've said this like multiple times of like if you weren't getting cast in something, then you decided to make your own thing, or you weren't getting jobs, so let's try to start a nonprofit. You know what I mean? Like that spirit also is like has been a part of your story, like throughout the whole thing of like if I'm not getting what's out there, then I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna create it.
Yeah. And I have to say, like, I think I spent a lot of my life feeling like bitter about it and kind of like upset and like not seen, not recognized or whatever, and a little like indignant. But yeah, no, you're totally right. Like the fact is, like, you get here, you meet the people doing the thing, and they're still like, no, you need all of these skills to do it for yourself. You need to make it happen yourself. And if people aren't giving you the things you want, you have to go and make it yourself. So yeah, I mean, it's like all that hardship really can build the skills that you need to succeed and to feel like satisfied in this profession. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Totally. Oh my God. Yeah. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your nonprofit before we go on?
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah. So my family and I run this small grassroots nonprofit called the Kumari Project, and basically it helps kids we run a safe house, the Kumari Project Safe House, for 12 kids who were orphaned but not adopted or had parents in prison. And because there's no foster care system in Nepal, like the kids sort of get put into these gigantic children's homes that have really substandard care, abusive care, sometimes exploitative care, or not care. So anyway, we basically rescued 12 kids from a pretty terrible orphanage, and then we've been raising them in the safe house. We celebrated our 10-year anniversary just recently, and so now most of my kiddos are, most of them are class 11 and 12 or beyond. So in Nepal, they end high school in class 10th grade, and then they do +2 college, and then they do bachelor's. So all of my kids now are in that window of having graduated from high school, except for my 2 boys, but all the girls have. So yeah, and 2 of them are artists, visual artists. So yeah.
That's
cool.
Incredible.
Wow.
I have chills every time you talk about it. I think it's so wonderful. It's so beautiful. I mean, to do that here is a lot of work. I can't even imagine the work that goes into it for providing that service in another country. Even just the communication or like setting up the utilities, like everything. That's a really big feat, and it's really incredible.
Can people donate to it?
Yes, they can.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
we'll put that link down below then for sure. So that way people, if they're so inclined, they can definitely donate.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. And thank you so much for those kind words too. And, thinking about it now in the context of this conversation, I think it is, just that same through line of like seeing a problem or whatever and doing, what I can to fix it, or, what we can to fix it. And it's like, grabbing the bull by the horns. and that's what we have to do as actors too, right? As creators.
I think that's going to be so important these next 4 years, especially. I mean, like, doing what you can to feel like you're making this world a better place in the way that you can, and gravitating to the people that you can help. And
100.
I think it's going to be important.
Yeah. Now I have chills. What you're saying. Yes. Yeah.
So back to your career.
Yes.
What was do you remember once you moved to LA, that first gig that you got?
I was trying to think about it, and I actually can't, which I think is kind of a win. Like, I know it sounds silly, but so my dad is a musician. He's an avant-garde jazz musician, drummer, percussionist, and producer. And he, I remember when kind of around the time I moved down to LA, he talked about a friend of his who was a musician who lived in the area and basically had gone on so many auditions he couldn't remember. He completely lost count. And I was like, that's kind of a goal of mine, is to just like be working so much or auditioning so much that everything is less precious and I don't remember. And so I was like, oh, I don't actually remember the first thing I booked, but I think, but I do think that one of the first things I booked was a non-union print only commercial for an electric company, and they didn't even tell us what the company was. But I think I remember driving like to Inland Empire and being like, I have a job.
Yes.
So I think that might have been the first one, but I'm not 100% sure.
That's so funny. I did one of those too in Tustin. It's always like out somewhere. Totally.
Like, yeah. No, yeah. And just being like stoked, but also being like, okay, yeah.
And on the reverse, I mean, and then coming from one of those first jobs, what have you been doing since? How's it been going? What's your journey been like?
Yeah, like I think it's been, so I guess I've been in LA for 11-ish years now. And I do remember someone sort of saying, well, two things, I guess, that like it takes 10 years to sort of get to where you want to be. I think maybe you guys said that on your podcast when I was listening to it.
We've definitely said it also.
Said it,
I think I pulled it from Malcolm Gladwell's Outliers book, the 10,000 hours or 10 years on something. Yeah.
It was you. Yes. And that's great. I mean, Malcolm and via you. But yeah. And then, and I remember actually when I graduated from Yale, this is so funny. They give you a pamphlet when you graduate about like how to be an adult. And one of the things that it talks about is that basically every year at Yale is sort of like equivalent to 10 years of your career. And that, the first 10 years, you're a freshman, you're like exploring, you're like saying yes to everything, trying a bunch of new things. Second year, you kind of, starting to, second 10 years of your career, right? You're starting to focus a little bit, build more skills. And then sort of like your junior year is sort of like when you're in the thick of it and you're at the top of your game and stuff like that. And I know it doesn't map exactly perfectly, but I think of thinking of things in a 10-year span is really interesting because I think a lot of people come to LA and they're like, if I don't make it in 2 years, and I was guilty of this too. I was like, I saved up money. I'm going to like spend my money and I'm going to like take all these classes and I'm going to go to every audition I can. And after 2 years, if I haven't made it, then like, I'll think about something else. Right. And the fact is that 2 years really needs to be 10 years. And if you're not willing to even give it that, then like, there's really no point. That being said, I don't think that the expectation should be paying all of your bills with acting in 10 years. I think that like, we need to be realistic in what those goals are. But in order to give yourself like a realistic understanding of the pursuit, it has to be 10 years at least that you're going to give it.
That makes me feel so great. I'm just a sophomore out here.
You are. You are.
I'm just
the
in
best
my
is yet to come.
Era.
Exactly.
I love that. But I do want to touch upon what you said because we totally agree. Like we very much like to be transparent about the finances and that, you can be a working whatever in this industry and still be working other jobs because most people have to.
Yes.
And so I love what your dad calls this. We've called it survival job, but your dad calls it
support services.
Yes. I love that. Tell us about support services and how they've supported you.
Yes. Take it and run with it. Yeah. So I agree. I love support services too, because survival job, I think just has like sort of a negative connotation of like, I need to like be at a point where I don't have to do this. And I think support services was more like, it's hard to be an artist. It's, it's nearly impossible to pay all of your bills doing the art that you want to do, no matter what type of artist you are, right? And all of the people on my dad's side of the family are artists and stuff. And so you have to supplement, and you have to supplement that with, whatever you can, be it teaching or, serving or, working an administrative job or whatever. And I think one thing I sort of had to come to terms with during the pandemic really was that like, I don't think I'll ever be in a position, and maybe I'm wrong, but let's plan for me to never be in a position to make all of the money that I need with my acting career. So I have to figure out a parallel stream of income that will satisfy me. And, I've done everything. I've tutored, I've, worked as a host, an event manager, a server, I've worked in nonprofits. I've done executive assisting for for-profit companies. And basically, I think that right now, like my day job is I'm a director of operations for an IT support services company, right? And so I think one thing that was a myth that I think I was told was like, oh, you need to get a job in hospitality because that's the most flexible and it's the most interchangeable, and you can quit if you have a great gig. Or, you know, even if you have an audition, like you can get someone to cover, it's fine. Everyone's an actor. They'll like be chill about it. That was not what I found to be true. I found that like a lot of people aren't actors, or they are, but they still don't want to take your shifts. And like that, you know, I take work really seriously no matter what it is. And I don't like to disappoint people or let people down. And so I would give a lot to those jobs. And when you give a lot to those jobs, it's hard on your body. It was hard on my like mentality. Like I really lost faith in humanity. Working in service. I so respect the service industry, and I just realized like I'm just not that good at it. I can't really do both things. And that I think one of the myths too is like we can't get an office job because like those aren't going to be flexible enough. Well, it turns out in my experience, like office jobs are the most flexible because you know, they're the ones that have like baked in paid time off. They're the ones that have like you know, they're also like usually not populated by actors and people in the film industry. And so they're really excited for you when you get like an audition and you have to take work off, or, you know, you book a role. They're like, that's so cool. Now I have a coworker who's on TV, you know? So it's like, yeah. So anyway, I found the most success with support services in more administrative capacities, but it is still all who you know. Yeah.
I 100% agree. I have I call it my full-time side job.
Yeah.
My full-time support service.
Love.
I've literally with both children have 5 months of paid maternity leave.
That's amazing.
With each one. Like
that's so cool.
You know what I mean? It's wild, and most jobs don't even have that. And so, but yes, there are certain, you know, banked hours of time that you have. And I worked, you know, as an employee, and then I worked as a supervisor for many years, and I was, you know, still doing it, still able to make it work, even though mine is in person. Now I'm moving to do a hybrid to do both, but I totally agree. It burnt me out when I was working 5 part-time jobs. Yeah. And I'm like you, like I've never tried serving because I had serving nightmares without even trying it. Like my roommates were servers, and I was just like, I had a dream that they completely updated the technology system, and I was sat 9 tables at once, and they were like, you've never done this? Like, how do you have that specific of a nightmare? And I'm like, because I hear all your horror stories. I can't handle it. I'll forget someone's ketchup and then angst over it for 2 days.
Yes, completely. You're driving home at 2 a.m. being like, oh no, I never brought her the ketchup.
Like they hate me.
They'll never come back because of me. The restaurant will fail because
maybe they're a director and they won't hire me because I forgot their ketchup, and I can't handle that pressure.
I know. No,
but
totally.
It really works. It really works for some people. Some people kill it. Some people really kill it, and they're personable and they can handle the pressure.
Completely. I know. Yeah. And they get that tip money. I just like never, I was like, this never seems like it's enough. I don't know.
I know.
But that's amazing too. At some point offline, I want to hear more about your support service and everything, because that sounds amazing. And to be able to like, you know, build a family as an artist that's
the only way I can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Completely. So, I mean, there's no way we could, anyways. Yeah. For us, at least, we have to have 2 incomes for, you know, childcare and all, you know, all this. Living in LA is a lot. So, okay. Yeah. Support systems.
Yeah.
New phrase. Support services. Support services.
Yeah. Take it away and run with it, please. Yeah.
I love that. So now that you have your support service in place, you have traveled for work too. For acting jobs, right?
Yeah, I have. And, you know, so basically a couple of things. One, I was just going to say, like, I have a list of sort of jobs that I feel like have been significant in different ways, which I'm happy to like go through, but I can also just talk about travel.
Oh my gosh, no, tell us everything.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So I mean, I guess and maybe they're a little bit they're interwoven for sure, but in terms of like, the first big jobs, I think like as an actor starting out, right, it's like things seem like a big deal at the time, and then you get the next sort of like step up or whatever, and you're like, oh, this is great too. And so in terms of my journey, and as it might relate to other people or help other people, I think the first time that I got an agent was great. I got a commercial agent, and that was just because I went to one of those educational workshops before they were educational workshops, and met someone who was also doing a scene, and she was super friendly, and she was an assistant at a commercial casting office and a commercial agent office, and basically offered me the opportunity to come in and audition for them. And then I got to be repped by them for a while, which was really great. Get my feet wet, my foot in the door and stuff, get experience doing some auditions, all of that stuff, still non-union at the time. And then that, sort of gave me experience and confidence to sort of level up in terms of finding sort of a more boutique commercial agent. And that came to me very randomly. It was like I had sort of put it out in my head that I wanted to look for another representative, and basically got an email or a message in C-mail and through Actors Access. And it was like, hey, I'm starting an agency. I'd love to basically audition you. And I was like, this seems really sketchy, but let me just try. And then after the interview, I was like, oh my God, I want to be with them so bad. And now I'm still with them. They're great. Yeah, it was awesome.
Good to know.
Is that normal to have like a little audition-y type thing with an agent?
Well, it was more like, because it was commercial, I think it was more like a conversation.
Okay.
And so I went into their office and basically, so it's my current agent. And he basically was like, I've worked for all of these casting directors. I'm going out on my own. I have strong relationships. This is sort of what I'm looking for. And at the end of it, I was like, oh, I would love to be
So
with
it
him.
Sounds like it was just as much of interview for you as it was for him.
Yes,
or
exactly.
Them.
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
exactly.
That's
yeah.
cool. Dang,
yeah,
that's
no,
so
totally.
Nice.
Yeah, I
I'm
know.
down for communication. What the heck?
It's cool to know not to write that off too, because I think a lot of people would have that initial instinctual oh, I don't know this person. They're reaching out to me. It's usually actors who reach out to reps. So maybe that means they're not as reputable, but obviously that wasn't the case. So I mean, of course, don't meet someone in their hotel room. Don't meet someone always let someone know where you are. But, and especially now there's so many virtual calls, you could do it virtually.
Yeah.
But that's so great that you're just okay, let me be safe about it. Let me meet with them. And it turned out amazing.
Yeah, no, totally. And I love the safety call out because it was at a WeWork office in West Hollywood, and exactly
around other people.
Yeah.
Totally safe, totally normal location.
Yeah. And it was
That's
pre-pandemic.
awesome.
So I think, it makes even more sense. I've had, my current manager, I've never even met in person. It's all been online. So, I think that's a safe way to go about it too. And probably more normalized these days. But yeah, I know. And that's the thing too. I wouldn't want to put a PSA of take every email you've ever gotten and respond to it and act like it's a safe thing. But in this case, it did work out in my favor for sure. Yeah. Yeah.
That's amazing.
So, that was cool. And then that was great. And then from him, basically I think within a month or two, I booked my first gig, which was an Uber ad. So it was
a
awesome.
major company.
Yeah.
That's so great.
And that was I think in terms of sort of those stair steps of feeling oh, I'm getting to the next level or whatever, or I've achieved that and maybe it'll come back down at some point. But, was doing that Uber ad because it's a major company. People have heard of it. And people saw the ad, my friends saw it and hit me up. And that felt really good to be I've been toiling here for X amount of years. And you can see I'm actually doing something. And then I also, I think the next kind of bigger thing was I did a pharmaceutical commercial, and it was very well paid. And I was wow, I didn't even know you could make this much money doing a commercial.
I love commercials. I'll say it every day of my life. I love commercials so much.
I know. And they're fun. I mean,
Yes.
they're fun.
They're like a day or two.
Yeah.
You make this crazy money.
Yes.
You get to meet a ton of cool people. Because it's like a short shoot, everyone is on their shit. Like no one's fucking around because they have to get it in these 1 to 2 days or 3 days, whatever. It's great. It's great.
Yeah, completely. And it's funny too, like I have a couple friends who are on the other side. They like work for creative agencies and stuff. And so it's been really cool to like talk to them about how they cast stuff and like how they set everything up, and just the perspective from the actor versus the perspective from the marketing creative and stuff. It's
That's
so interesting to compare
and
notes.
that's such good information to have.
Yeah,
like to know what they're looking for, or how they're constructing the campaign. I would imagine that totally helps to have that perspective.
Yeah, completely. And I think as an actor, I know this is sort of like old information, but it's like you always think like, oh, if I could have done this better, or if I could have like done this differently or whatever, maybe I would have booked it. And like so much of the time, it just, especially with commercials, it doesn't come down to your talent or your performance. It comes down to like, you got yourself in the room, that was the win. That's the thing they're going to remember, casting is going to remember. And like, if the client didn't love you, or you didn't look like the person who's supposed to play your, brother or whatever, or sister or person, that's not about you. It's about, what the campaign needs.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. And then I guess, in terms of like sort of that merging of, money with recognition too, it was like I did a couple Google ads, and that was like really awesome. Because it was like money, and like, again, people were like, hey, I saw you on the Google app, stuff like that. So I think, those like stair steps, it takes a long time to get there. But I think, if you stick with it, it like happens. But I also think that, I don't know, I had this coach at one point who was working with like much bigger names than I am, and was saying that one of his clients had sort of booked this really great film, and it was sort of a culmination of everything they thought they had wanted in a job. And then, they got on set, and it was not like a great set in terms of like the talent they were working with, or, they didn't feel like people were really serious about the film and stuff like that. And I think that, it's so easy to look at the accolade side of things and not realize that it's actually like the day-to-day on set that like, or the, artistic process, right, that should be the most important. And that, at least for me, I found is like the thing that I should be seeking. Not like the booking this thing or the getting this thing, or, as much as I appreciate the recognition and it validates me, like, I think the thing that I've had to work on over the past 11 years is understanding that that's the cherry on top, but it's everything getting on the way to get there that needs to sustain me in the day-to-day. Did that make sense?
Yes.
Oh my God, beautiful.
Yeah. No, it's so true. I mean, we even like talk about it, like when we are booking our own stuff and creating the crew around it and everything. It's like, if you have people who you don't like to work with, and those are like long days.
Yeah.
So if you're doing it in like day in, day out, like it can be so miserable if the people who are with you or the experience itself is not, I mean, we'll all have like crazy days where you're supposed to be in a bathing suit or whatever. And it's like, in the middle of winter or something, like that's a hard day. But if you have people around you like that are like there and like caring for you and making sure that you're good, then it's a little bit better. Right. And that's kind of like the part of like the work. But if you have people that are not it, it's so bad. It's so bad. But yeah,
totally.
So it makes sense. It totally makes sense what you're saying.
And I think like the threshold too is so different. And I think like one thing I've just been reflecting on is like at certain points in my career, I've been like, I'm so excited to be here, like in a bathing suit, freezing in the middle of winter. And then, at another point in my career, I might be like, this isn't okay anymore, and sort of see your own
have
metric.
My trailer warmed up for me because this is not it.
And also, I think like, realizing that like, exactly, it's the people you surround yourself with. It's the work that you, it's your own process. And like, for me, like, I love acting because I learn things about the world. I learn things about myself, and like the opportunity of getting a role and to inhabit that is like why, that is like what keeps me going. And the connection that I get from like a scene partner, even if it's in class, is like, so what I want from the world and what I get from this work. And like, if no one's going to see that scene except for the people in class, like, oh, that sucks. But also, like, if I can feel fulfilled by that creatively, at least that can keep me going to like the next thing. You know,
Are there any classes in LA that you would recommend or that you really liked taking?
you know, I've also found that classes for me are kind of like, I look for what I feel like I'm missing in the moment. So, and that has sort of evolved for me over time. So like when I first came, so in school, I actually studied more like the Stella Adler technique. And to be honest, like it just didn't work for me. It got me really in my head, really like not in the scene. Like still like on the page, and you know, perhaps I just wasn't doing it well, but for me it didn't work. And so when I was in Oregon, one of the things that really like unlocked something for me is I was taking a summer class with the head of the University of Oregon's theater department, John Schmore, and he specializes in Shakespeare, clown, and Meisner, which is amazing. But Meisner was the thing that sort of unlocked for me, like, oh, this is acting. This is how I know if I'm like in a scene and connected to my scene partner and like understanding the given circumstances and blah, 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 all that stuff. So I'm a huge Meisner fan. And one of the things when I came down to LA, I was like, how do I keep doing Meisner? And John said that there was a school that one of his former students was at that seemed to be, you know, doing the technique in as much of its sort of, form, you know, traditional form as possible. And that was Playhouse West. So I really enjoyed my time at Playhouse West. I think it was really good also for like new actors to LA, because it really tried to implement like the understanding that like that you need to have an appreciation for like the written word and for theater. And, you know, you need to have a standard of excellence in terms of how you approach the work. That being said, I felt like I wanted a little bit more like business after a couple of years there. And so I thought, like, I was like, Leslie Kahn, like a lot of people book there. It's not going to lie, fun to be in class with people you recognize. So I went to Leslie Kahn, and that was amazing. I took class with Joel Johnstone. He's amazing. But I also felt like I felt like that gave me so many good skills in terms of how to be on set, how to do commercial auditions, how to be a technical actor, you know, do all the really difficult things that like when you're in class, you're like, I'm following my impulses. And then when you're on set, you're like, you can't follow any of your impulses. You know, it's not about you right now. It's about you making this mark, or you turning your hand so the camera can see the bracelet.
You really have to work
off
within this confined box. And it's really a testament to how well you listen and how well you follow direction.
Yes.
And so you're free to play within this tight space.
Yeah. Yeah, completely. Yeah. And so I think that like gave me a lot more tools in my tool belt. And then I kind of felt like in terms of my freedom, ability to play within that box, like I was limiting myself. So I went to Berg and tried to sort of unlock that like exploration through like the work, and to sort of, yeah. And I felt like that was really great. I took with Berg and Adrian, who was great too. And yeah, and then the pandemic hit, and I was doing some Shakespeare with Rob Clare. And so I did Shakespeare for the entire pandemic. He's amazing. I thought that he does online classes now on Zoom. And I just think, you know, the caliber of actor that are in his classes is wonderful. The approach to the work. I mean, I think it's a little oversimplification, but like if you can do Shakespeare, you can do anything, right? But the idea is the way that you approach Shakespeare is like the exploration of it, and how if you can bring that approach to your other work, like it's going to be so so rich. So Yeah, and I've always loved Shakespeare, and I thought like I was too dumb to like really do it. But the class like taught me that it's not about being dumb or not being dumb. It's about, bringing your own interest and introspection to the work, and and also, yeah, and mining it with your life experience and all of that.
Worried about
100%.
being dumb, says the Yale graduate.
Right.
That
part.
I know. I was so scared of Shakespeare in college. I didn't even take the Shakespeare classes.
Yeah. It is
I love
scary.
Shakespeare too. Yeah, I studied abroad in college at Shakespeare's Globe Theater. I was just there in the summer for like a little over a month. I lost my mind. It's my favorite place on earth.
Oh my God.
And totally geek out over it. We're gonna have to talk online because now I want to take that class.
Yes.
I agree though. And so a couple things, like, Shakespeare wrote for the masses. There were jokes for everyone in there during that time, and there were jokes for other people who might it'll land in different places. And that's so important. It is really written for everyone. And if anyone out there is like interested in getting into Shakespeare, just I would do it. And but like you were saying, if you could do Shakespeare, you could do anything. I also think that too, just because I spent so much time in college doing like script analysis of Shakespeare. And so like literally I'm dissecting the punctuation and why the punctuation is there. It really forces me to look at any script I get and say, oh, okay, well, like, why does that actor cut this actor off? And like, what were they going to say? And why did he do an exclamation point here instead of a period? Like, where's it like informs the emotional life of the character. And that is what Shakespeare spelled things interesting ways to tell certain emotions. Yeah, totally agree.
Yeah.
Totally love.
Yeah, 100%. Everything you're saying. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Sorry, I was like, I can't even add to that.
Just
no, that was perfect.
Geeking out over Shakespeare for a second. Yeah. Good old Willie Shakes.
Yeah. I know, I'm just like reveling in it. I was like, yeah.
So great.
And I think, I was just thinking too, like, one thing I liked about, like, to get super geeky about technique, like that I like about Meisner, and I think, the traditional form is like when you're memorizing lines, you're memorizing it with no punctuation. And it's sort of to get at that same thing of like, why is like I think you can find your own emotional life doing when you approach the text without punctuation. But then what's such a gift from Shakespeare is like, it is all there. It is all intentional, and there is a reason, and it can help you, figure it out. And so when you can sort of find your own like emotional truth, right, and then merge that with like the text's emotional truth, is like really when it starts to sing. So bringing those together.
Yeah, it's just a lot of work, but it's so worth it. It's so worth it.
So
when
fun.
You love geeking out over it. Okay. And then you've booked like a few things recently that we can watch. Can you tell us about your experiences recently?
Yeah, totally. So I think, one of the first things that I booked that, theatrically, that was a big deal was I booked a short film called Amina, and I was a grief counselor. It was part of Lena Waite's Rising Voices project, which I don't know if y'all know about that, but basically her production company, Hillman Grad, partnered with Indeed. And so instead of Indeed like giving like $1 million to like a marketing company to like make a 30-second ad for them, they were like, let's partner with Hillman and give $100,000 to 10 up and coming filmmakers of diverse backgrounds. And Hillman Grad will like help mentor those filmmakers, make the films, and then they premiere them at Tribeca every year. Yeah. Which is insane. So
that is so cool, and what money well spent. Like that's a great idea.
Well, and it's so great too because Hillman has like so many, and like obviously Lena has like so many avenues to like help directors continue to like build experience and like get like real world experience too after it. So it's like this incredible mentorship program on top of like giving, you know, everyone else opportunities along the way, like me, an actor. So that was really awesome. So I got to be a part of this like really cool short film, and then we went to Tribeca, and that was really cool. And then while I just happened to be in New York for Tribeca, I booked the role that made me SAG, which was a doctor in The Best Man, the final chapter, which was sort of like the end of the Best Man universe. But it was basically two films that were made. I don't even know, like I think late 1990s, and then there was one in the 2000s, and with like Taye Diggs, Terrence Howard, Melissa D'Souza, and Nia Long, and some other amazing talent. But those are the people that I got to like be in the room with, and that was amazing. So they just happened to be filming they were filming in New York. I was in New York for Tribeca. So I booked that role, and as a New York local hire. And then
great timing.
It was insane.
Great timing.
I actually like missed the premiere of the short film I was in because it was all screening in like a 10 film block. And our film was like later in the block, and I had call at like 6 p.m. So I had to like run out of Tribeca. My partner stayed, and he's like, it was great. And then I like, and then it was like a night shoot I had, and I was doing the last shot of the night. So it was crazy. It was awesome. And then, and then I guess the next sort of big thing that I did was I got a small part in an indie feature film called Founders Day, which was filmed in Connecticut, created by these two brothers, the Bloomquist brothers, Eric and Carson, and that was awesome. Like it was offer only. I didn't even have to audition. It was a pretty small part, but I think by sheer enthusiasm, I got my own poster and got, it was fun. It was so awesome. I think
I want to know how that process is with the offer, because Jessica and I have put out offers to talent, and like we're approaching people for the first time. What did that look like for you? Did they reach out to your manager? Did they reach out to your agent? What did that even look like?
Yeah, so I don't have theatrical agent right now. So they reached out to my manager, and basically, it came to my email, and he was like, this offer only, this is like the part, and I'm pretty sure they didn't send me the full script right away. I think they just sent my scenes. And then once I signed, they sent me the whole script. And I had like, I think I had like 6 lines. And I was in like a fair amount of scenes, but so that's kind of how it happened. And then I was like, is this legit? And he was like, I think so. And then we did it.
Look at you being offer only. Look at you.
Yeah, I know. I was like, but and that was in terms of traveling, that was in Connecticut. So so that was interesting. So I was like a local hire in Connecticut, and I got to stay with my husband's godparents, which was like also just so fun. And then I know. And then I rented a car all on my own dime and just like made it happen, was on set for 2 weeks. I had like a 4 days in the middle where I just went and saw some friends in upstate. And and it was like magical. It was some amazing talent that like I've looked up to in my career, and just happened to like get to hang with them. And because it was indie, like base camp was in this old church, and it was like a horror film too. And of course, like the church was definitely haunted, but it was
nice.
But it was really cool. It was just like so magical. And it was really cool too, because the production company has like done features before, has done short films before. So they were kind of like down to a science in terms of like their crew, what everyone was doing. They had crew jumping in to be some of the like background and all this stuff. And it just felt like a well-oiled machine. And and I was just really happy to be a part of it. It was great. And then we had a nationwide theatrical release the next year. And we went to London for Fright Fest. So I flew out to London to see it on the big screen.
Oh my gosh, no big deal.
Yeah. It was just like, and
That's
yeah,
really
and I
cool.
didn't even do anything to like, except that I will say, just to give myself some credit, I do, and I genuinely think enthusiasm had a lot to do with it. But it was just like, everything we've learned in the business, right? Like, be grateful when you're on set, be lovely. And it's not that hard to do when everyone else is lovely, which they were, especially wardrobe. They were awesome. But yeah, I mean, it was like the first time when I had someone like run on set with a warming coat for me. And I was like, this is great. And I was just like so happy. And then at the end, it's like if you can, like give a gift to who you can give a gift to. Right. And so I stopped at this little store and got these little ornaments because it was almost around Christmas time. And I got these little ornaments that were made of the little like remarkable places in the little town that we were filming in. And so I got one of like, there's like a gazebo that we film in. There's like this arts and crafts shop that we like filmed in front of. And so, it was just like, it was fun for me to like find those and track them down. And I gave them to a PA on the last day to hand to, the producers. And I think that like meant something to them,
That's so thoughtful.
Thanks.
And you're not breaking the bank.
Yeah.
And it's something that like an ornament, they're gonna put it on their tree every year and they're gonna think of you.
Yeah. Yeah. And I bought myself one too because, I deserve a memory.
That's so cute. That's perfect. That's a great idea. I've never heard of that. Adding that to the Rolodex of holiday ideas or like wrap gifts. That's great.
Yeah. And I just, it was like, because it was really cool too, because the brothers basically got like this whole town to like let us film in like the police station, the local theater, like, and, to film like on the day they had like a real festival, like in the little courtyard in the middle of the town. Like we set up extra like festival booths and had like all these extras coming from like all over the place. People really show up when you're doing indie film, and like it was just such a cool community to be a part of. Anyway, yes, I'm yammering on, but yes.
No, that's so great. That's so great. And Founders Day is actually streaming right now on Apple Plus and on Amazon.
Yes.
Wonderful. And then you also have something out on Max right now. Tell us about it.
Yeah. So this was like hands down the biggest thing I've ever done. So I got a recurring guest star on the show called The Pit. It's basically
recurring guest star?
Yeah.
I'm screaming for you. I just don't want to blow out the mic. Oh my God, my heart just like leapt out of my chest. I didn't know. I knew you booked it. Recurring guest star, that's huge.
Isn't that insane? It's insane. Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm so happy for you. Like, I think I'm gonna cry. That's so good. That's so good. Oh my God, tell us. Oh my God, I'm so excited for you.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. I mean, I'll get real like, film geeky about it, in terms of like, and like actory geeky about it. I can tell you the play-by-play, but essentially, yeah, it's, I play like a Nepalese speaking immigrant, possibly to, and I'm one of the patients. So basically the show, The Pit, it's like ER meets 24. It's like 15 hours for one season. Every episode is one real-time hour of like a doctor, and basically covering a doctor shift. And of course the doctor is Noah Wiley. And there's 4 episodes out now on Max. They drop Thursdays at 9. I'm in 1, 3. I did film for 2, but they cut my scene because it was a little redundant, I think. And I'm also in another one, but I'm not sure I can talk about that exactly right now.
That's totally fine. That's totally fine.
Yeah.
And how was that? Your manager got you your audition, or how did that go?
Yeah. So, I think that one thing in terms of like my manager's approach, and I think the approach of like a lot of people who have been doing this for a while, is like at the point where I still am, like just looking for co-stars, right? Is like, you need to be specific. And, you can do that with your look. You can do that with languages or talents you have. And I just got super effing lucky because they were trying
And you're
to
also super effing talented. So
Oh,
let's
thank
just
you.
obviously, but yeah, you can continue.
Thank you. And yeah, but it's like, yeah, preparation meets opportunity, right? I guess.
Mhm.
But yeah, and so basically they were casting for an Asian woman who spoke a rare Asian language. So I am basically deducing a lot of this from the audition that came to me, which was basically a re-release of a woman speaking Nepali, but the Nepali was pretty obviously like Google translated, like wasn't written by someone who speaks Nepali. And so what I assume happened is they maybe put the casting call out for like a bunch of different like Burmese, like, Thai, whatever. And then didn't see anyone they wanted and then re-released it with a bunch of other sort of rare Asian languages. And I happened to get it because I speak Nepali. I get the audition, I mean. And then basically the way it happened is insane. So, you know how I talked about being having a nonprofit in Nepal, right?
Yeah.
Which, it was difficult, has been difficult to manage in terms of like prioritizing my acting career or prioritizing like my work in Nepal. Well, I happened to be in Nepal when I got the audition. I was really sick because I had a stomach bug. I mean, like really sick. And I was like, oh, I think I just have to like do this. So one of my young women, I'll just give her a shout out, Rabina, was like, oh, she was on holiday from school and she's so lovely. And I was like, yo, can you help me with this? And she's like, sure. And she's so sweet. And she's like, well, that isn't really correct. That's not really how you would say that. So she helped me basically rewrite the whole script. Then I filmed the script. My mom, who is my best reader, helped me do it. And because the character is like really sick too at the beginning, I was like, maybe this will all work out for me. Anyway, I did it, put it on tape. I did a little thing too. My manager was like, I was like, hey, I had to change the script a little bit. Like, do you think I should address that? He was like, yeah, just put a little thing at the end after your slate, talk about like what you did and why. And hey, even if they don't like you for the role, maybe they'll bring you in as like a language consultant. Who knows, right?
Cool.
So yeah, so I was like, cool, I'll do that. So I did it, put it on tape, sent it, was like, okay, this is the biggest thing I've ever auditioned for. Probably won't get it, whatever. Then I'm on the way back to America, and I have a 17-hour layover in Istanbul. So my mom and I travel with my mom for Nepal. And so we get off, we get like this hotel in Istanbul. We like go and like hang out, do a bunch of sightseeing stuff. And I get this message from my manager and he's like, they really like you for the role. Can you be at a callback tomorrow at 1 p.m.? And I was like, I land at 11 a.m. I am not sure I can get out with all my bags through immigration and like home by 1, but I will try. So I land at 11. I text my manager. I'm like, yo, what's up? He's like, you know what? The director, showrunner is actually like too busy to see you for a callback. They're sending you to producers, your creative's choice, first choice. They're your producer's first creative choice. And so I was like, okay, cool. So then I like go home, eat dinner, start to unpack whatever. And at like 7:30, I get a message that's like, hey, they liked you. Can you sign the contract and be at a leg molding appointment at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning? And I was like, yes.
What are you gonna say to that? Like, I'm gonna say fuck yes.
Yeah. So, okay, here's
my
another thing, which is a
gosh.
little crazy. They also were like, and there is potential, most probably nudity. Are you cool with that? And I was like, oh, yeah. I mean, I was like, this is the
And
biggest
that's such
opportunity
a
I'll ever
vague
get.
question. Like, what kind of, whenever you're in that scenario, you can always ask, like, okay, what does that mean? Because like nudity could mean like, oh, we're gonna see your midriff.
Yeah.
So it's like, what does that even mean?
Yeah. And like, to be honest, I could go back and look at my emails because I can't totally remember all the details. But essentially, it was like, it was a medical drama. The whole idea is that it's super, super, super realistic, right? That they won't do anything, unnecessary. It's not a show about that,
Yeah.
And I was like, you know, I think the line I've always sort of told myself is like, if it helps to tell the story, sure. And it felt like that's what they were going to be doing. And on set, 100% on the day, that's what they did. They had an intimacy coordinator that was one of the first people to reach out to me. She walked me through everything. Hair and makeup was like super, super, you know, helpful in terms of like anything I was self-conscious about. They were like, what can we do? When we filmed it, they had an all-female crew helping me just do the close-up. It was like a female DP, Jojo, who's amazing, and Amy, who's the camera operator, and just like one nurse in the scene, who's now my friend Millette. And you know, it's just like, it was great. So it ended up being like totally, totally great. And but it's also, you know, I think I was also lucky that like all the things have been put in place and the production honored that type of thing too. I wouldn't necessarily recommend like signing everything over in other circumstances. But yeah, but it ended up working out really well for me. And then basically I signed and they were like, great, you're guaranteed 3 episodes, 1, 3, and 4. 1, 2, and 4. And then they wrote me in for episode 3. That scene's like wasn't my original audition scene. And then they edited another scene, which you'll see later, which is a version of sort of my audition scene, but is a little bit of a departure. So,
my goodness gracious! Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Incredible.
And what's crazy is that like if I had not gotten on the plane on my originally scheduled departure, I wouldn't have made it in time to book the role. Because they needed someone.
Say that again.
So basically, like I auditioned, I sent it in, and then I got on the plane to come back to America and had that long layover in Turkey. If I hadn't already been on the plane and about to land, like at that time, I could not have gotten back to America in time to get my leg molded because they needed 2 weeks to prep it because I was in the pilot episode, and it took 2 weeks to make the leg. So like, So I basically, I mean, who knows how much wiggle room they had, but essentially the reason they were casting it so last minute and it was a re-release was because they needed they signed me at 7:30 that night, and then I had to be at a leg thing at 10 a.m. the next day. And if I hadn't been on the plane already, I wouldn't have been able to get back to America in time for that appointment. So,
oh my God, it was just like all the pieces.
Kismet. Yeah.
Falling into place.
So it's like, how can you not trust that some of the things are working, you know?
Yeah. What's for you is for you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So anyway, I don't know.
Amazing.
And it's great. Yeah. I think
so cool.
Thanks. Yeah. So anyway, and I can talk about, you know, being on set or whatever if that's of interest. But basically that was the biggest thing, and it's great. And I'm just so grateful to be a part of a show that also, you know, obviously you want it to do well, but it seems like it's been doing really well. And I've gotten, you know, a lot of people who are, and we just watched episode 4 last night. I'm not in that one, but you know, my partner was really moved by it. And I think it's like a really incredible show. So, and that was like my goal is like be on like, you know, TV drama. Like that's my favorite type of thing to consume. And so to be on it is just like dream come true.
Yeah, that was my next question was like, obviously you have this amazing role that just came to you, but is there anything in the future that you're like, okay, like do you have like boxes that you want to like check off, like that you're manifesting or whatever in the future? And do you want to talk about them?
You know,
do you want to put it in the universe?
I love that question because to be honest, I'll be totally honest, I've been like a little scared about the future of the industry. And like I'm nervous to sort of want of it because I feel like I've been given so much, especially recently. And I just sort of like want to be grateful for that. And like, and, you know, still keep working hard and like, you know, doing things that I think will help me, you know, utilize this to like build my career even more. But in terms of like what I want, I just want to keep like getting jobs as an actor. I will do anything, co-stars, I'll do local hire. I just want to keep like telling being a part of telling stories that I think are meaningful and also at this point in time entertaining, because I think that we need that. I think like I was like a late convert to Ted Lasso, and I was like, this show seems superfluous. And then I started watching, I was like, oh no, this is what we need as a nation. Like good vibes and
Ted
like
Lasso.
Yeah. And so it's like and that being said too, like one thing I think that I just like, I could not have designed it better. Like the role in the pit, it's like everything that's happening with like anti-immigrant sentiment and stuff like that. Like this role is so meaningful to me that if I could have like pitched myself for it, I would have, but I think the fact that it fell in my lap is like, I just am so happy because, like as a child, like not seeing people like me represented on TV much, like what is hard. And to be a part of that maybe for someone else is really meaningful, to be a part of like getting to tell a story of someone who, they didn't say like, oh, you're an immigrant or you're a migrant worker, but like considering my character doesn't speak English is pretty clear. So, and what's happening now with my kids in Nepal and like the fact that like the Nepalese workforce is basically being, like forced, because there's no opportunity in Nepal. They've been forced to like find work outside of the country, to leave their families. 1 million people left Nepal last year for work out of a population of 22 million. So It's like, and a lot of people are leaving with like very dangerous circumstances. They don't know where they're going. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know if it'll be safe. And they're all doing it, to try to like do better for themselves and their families. And just to be like a part of getting to tell a piece of that story, and to have it represented on screen on a show that like a lot of America is watching is pretty darn cool.
Yeah.
So
super cool.
Yeah. Anyway, that's my little soapbox.
Chills again.
Great soapbox.
Yeah. I'm gonna be listening to it on repeat. We're gonna go watch your show. Absolutely. I can't wait. I can't wait to go see it. Oh my gosh.
And also, I mean, the incredible talent and the way they're creating the show is really cool too. I like didn't even know about it until I like read something on the dailies. But like I guess they're sort of trying to just industry stuff. I guess they're trying to revolutionize a little bit like how TV is made so that it's actually more affordable for studios. So they will like start making more stuff. So the idea is that they're capping like series regulars at like 35, 50K per episode. And that really enables them to say, hey, studio, greenlight the whole season, not just one pilot. And also, I think it might be hard for actors who have names, but for people like me, it's great because then they have more money to like give guest stars like day rates or episode rates, and they have
they have more money just to make it, like you said, like they're making a whole series instead of making a pilot. So that's more work for crew members as well.
Exactly. Yeah. And like a lot of the series regulars are super talented, but they're new or they're young, and so it's like to get to do all that stuff, they're really elevating new talent, which is cool. And cool. And like I was brought on for 1, 2, and 4, I think. And then I ended up getting, I can't even remember. But anyway, I ended up booking 6 episodes with them. They had me on for
from
6.
3 to 6.
Yeah. Which is also like a significant amount of money for me. Like, so that was like insane. Like I made real money being an actor in 2024, which has never been the case for me. So in so many ways, I'm just like gratitude. More of any of the things that are good that I've experienced would be great as repeats or beyond, I guess, in terms of putting it out there. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, I have just so much enjoyed talking with you, and I'm so grateful that you gave us your time today, and thank you for sharing your story and your journey and your ever evolving story with all of us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
I can't wait to have you on in like 2 more years, and then you being like, oh, I just won the Oscar. Sorry. Like.
I'm a series regular of this now.
Yeah.
And I have this national commercial out.
Yeah.
We're all going to be there together, and Jessica, you'll be writing it, right? So, yeah.
Yes, we'll all be there.
Manifesting.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. This has been so fun. I love talking about acting and my story and all the things and connecting
dreams.
with y'all. Yes.
I love it.
Same.
Thank you so much for coming on. Now go get set.
Okay.
Okay, guys, it's no surprise. We love you and you love us. So show us a little more of that love. Subscribe, rate, review, and don't forget our Patreon at patreon.com/oldgirlsentertainment. Love you guys.